welcome back to Laughter in the Law, where we talk about the law with a lighthearted twist. I'm Diane Belmont. I'm the office manager of Flexner Hauser Injury Law, where we are led by our fearless leader, Jackie Hauser. And Jackie is going to be on the other side of the table today with her BFF, Jennifer Cave. And this time, instead of a laptop in front, like Jackie usually has when she sits in this seat, I have a bowl of questions.
Ooh.
And I'm super excited to ask these questions. Now, just to give you some reference here, most of these questions stem from how law is perceived or represented in movies or in TV. Or just in media in general. So I'm really excited to hear your hot takes.
Okay.
I think this is the way they ought to do the bar exam.
I do too.
Just let's pull 4 questions out and see how you do.
Did you order the code red?
And just in case you didn't check the previous episodes where Jackie and Jennifer reminisced about law school days and also kind of talked a little bit about how their law paths diverged after law school, we are going to do brief introductions. And go, Jen.
I'm Jennifer Cave. I am currently serving in the United States Army Reserve as a JAG.
I'm Jackie Hauser. I'm your boss. I own Flexner Hauser Injury Law, where we do personal injury and other things like workers' comp, little nursing home negligence, and I enjoy helping people.
All right.
It's my job.
All right. So your first question, ladies. Work-life balance. On TV, lawyers always seem to find time for romance, social life, or drama outside the courtroom. In reality, how demanding is the schedule, and is balance possible?
In TV, their houses are so nice.
They dress nice all the time.
They dress nice all the time.
They always have manicures and pedis.
They do have manis and petties.
But they never go get them.
The time invested to get them to how they look on the show, you never really see.
No. Yeah.
And you don't see it from me either because I don't do it.
Right.
So.
Work-life balance is, I think it's better than it was 20 years ago. I think people are more attuned to that and they want work-life balance. I certainly want work-life balance, but sometimes, we say that the law is a jealous mistress. And so sometimes, work maybe 18 hours a day for 3 or 4 days in a row because you got to get something done.
I think it depends on where you are in your career, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you come out of law school and you think you're going to have like a perfect work-life balance right out of law school, you'll have a balance that will not be high in your bank account. So you can't, I mean, it's true. You can't expect to come out of law school and not have to work hard. So that being said, I think you need to make sure, like we've all met, and I've gone to some law schools where I've done like mock interviews, and I'll ask them like, so what do you do for fun? They're like, I read law cases. I'm like, that is a terrible answer. Like, you need to assure your employer that you have an emotional, spiritual balance to go with your workday. Otherwise, this job will own you. And you'll have nothing to show for it. The job doesn't care about you. So, it's something I think you really have to pay attention to early on, and you'll never get away from it, but you just have to be always mindful of it. It's never going to be 100% balanced, but just know your ebbs and flows and what you can handle. And what I can handle in my 20s, I can't handle in certain ways now. And what I can handle now, I couldn't have done in my 20s. So wisdom and age comes into effect as well to help you with that. And but just always have someone around that can help. You can ask them, like, do I have a good work-life balance right now? And they'll tell you. So it's the best lawyer non-answer.
There you go.
Love it. All right, here we go. In Suits, blackmail is practically a negotiation tool. How often does that kind of behind-the-scenes pressure happen in real legal world? Or is that a pure fiction?
I've never seen Suits.
I've never seen Suits. I never have
I
either.
don't watch legal shows.
I don't either.
I can't stand them generally.
Yeah.
There are a few I can probably name on my thumbs that I.
Yeah.
We're back to naming things on my thumb. There are a few, but just the general blackmail question in general, no. In my profession, and Jen's experiences may be different, but in my profession, I have to deal with the same set of defense attorneys. I'm a plaintiff's attorney, and I have to deal with the same set of defense attorneys over and over and over again. I'm going to see them in my current case, and I'm going to see them in the next case, and the next case, and the next case. And so the most important thing is for me to have a good professional relationship with them. And I think what I have built out, and I'll give a good example, a little bit lengthy example, but I took a deposition yesterday, or my client gave their deposition yesterday with this defense attorney that I've known for over a dozen years. And he knows my work ethic, and he knows whenever I served responses to discovery, I give you everything you've asked for. I don't play games because I don't want there to be any question called into question about whether or not I've responded. Now, if it's objectionable, that's different. But I'm not going to play games and pull pages out of medical records or white things out, or that's unethical. And so he knows that. And so whenever he was asking my client certain questions, you could tell from the way he was asking the questions, he wasn't even calling into question whether or not something was or was not true. I had given him what he had asked for in accordance with the rules and in accordance beyond the objections. And you build that with relationships, not with blackmail or playing games. Maybe in some of the big firms you play games. I just haven't found in this arena that's very professional and ethical, and I don't want to be known as that type of lawyer.
Yeah, I think, I work for the government side, so we start the cases usually. Mm-hmm. You don't get to sue under the Ferry's doctrine, the armed forces that much. So we're starting cases. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, if we're starting it, you have all the answers. You have the information. Mm-hmm. Give it to them. There's nothing to be... And I don't do a lot of criminal level stuff. I'm usually just firing people. So I'm like, just give them everything. Like, if they've done something, give them everything they can, because I want everything that they want to say as a reasonable excuse. I want that to come out. Mm-hmm. So the person that's making the decision has all the facts to make a decision. Mm-hmm. I have no intention of ever winning a case by withholding information.
That's great.
It's just not helpful to anybody. And then in the military, the defense attorneys come back to the government side. So we rotate through. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you'll have someone that's hired, a civilian attorney that's a reserve JAG. And I had one in a case a couple of years ago where I thought, to what you're saying, it's like you don't want to be questionable. Mm-hmm. I picked up the phone and I was like, I want to make sure I understand what you're saying, mm-hmm. so I can make sure that everything's ethical here. Yeah. And I think he got the clue. And I think he had been practicing kind of on the civilian side and been able to do some tricks somewhere else. Mm. And I kind of was like, is that really, really what you want to do? And then we got back on track. But I think he realized, he's like, he could work for me in the future. So we kind of have safeguards, I guess, in that way. Mm. But as the government side, it's like there's no reason to try to get ahead by doing that. Plus, I don't know how we would blackmail anybody. Have you seen us try and get paid? Like, you have 15 sheets of paper. Like, I couldn't move money in the military if I wanted to. So, yeah, there's that too.
Ooh, we got a few good men question here.
Oh, yes.
How accurately are military legal proceedings shown? Are the uniforms, salutes, and protocol close to real JAG practice?
Let me answer.
Go for it. You should. I'd like to hear your perspective.
I don't know.
Well, first of all, there's only so many Tom Cruises in the world, right? So you've only got so many people that look like Tom Cruise and Demi Moore. And then there's Kevin Bacon. So... And then there's the pile into it. I have seen like intros or commercials or something for that JAG show, and her body is like a supermodel. And so understandably, the entertainment industry glued her into a uniform. And I'm like, you couldn't sit down. If you tried that with our uniform, it wouldn't work. So I was, nothing against them. I get it. It's the entertainment industry. But I was like, that is absolutely not how any of us look in uniform, because it's distracting and just not an appropriate way for professional and decorum to be. So it is, I wouldn't say it's super, there's not a lot of overlap.
Okay.
I do say, though, I do use A Few Good Men for this. People are like, what do you do? I'm like, Kevin Bacon in that movie? I'm his boss's boss. That's about the most I can use with it. And then obviously a lot of people are always like, did you order the code red? Like, that comes up a lot. So.
And how often do y'all quote, "You can't handle the truth"?
We probably quote the "I strenuously object" by Demi Moore more than anything. 'Cause she's like,
yeah.
I strenuously object. Like, the objection doesn't carry itself. You have to put strenuously in front of it. So
It's a super objection.
it's a super objection. Strenuously. So that's probably the most often cited one in the circles I run in.
Oh, okay. Small town courtrooms. I believe this has to do with My Cousin Vinny. The movie shows a colorful, small-town courtroom dynamic. Is practicing law in smaller jurisdictions really that different from big city courtrooms?
Well, I must say, I'm a small town girl. I've mainly practiced in small town courtrooms. I mean, I have been in Raleigh and Winston-Salem, so those are our big or metropolitan areas. I think I've been in Charlotte in court. Those are our bigger metropolitan areas. But for the most part, I'm a small town girl. I like the small town feel. And I'm a Duplin, Sampson, Columbus, Robeson, New Hanover, Bladen, Brunswick, all those little tiny counties, those little tiny courtrooms. And so there is a little home cooking sometimes. And you just got to know who your judge is going to be, who your clerk. It's always good to know the clerk that's in the courtroom. There's just little nuances like that you need to know. A long, long time ago, I had a motion against another attorney, and he was a local attorney, and I was not. And I literally sat there for a couple of hours, and I'm like, this is they went through every other motion. I'm still waiting on this attorney to show up. I find every time they would call the case, I would stand up and say, Your Honor, I'm here. We're ready to proceed. And the other attorney wasn't there. And the judge said, well, let's give him about 30 more minutes. And I noticed then every time that they said that, the bailiff would step outside. About the third time it happened, I caught on. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? So about the third time it happened, and as soon as the judge said, let's give him 30 more minutes, and the bailiff stepped outside, I just followed the bailiff out. He's calling the attorney and telling him, hey, they're going to give you 30 more minutes. And the attorney was just down the hall in another courtroom.
Oh.
And I'm like, can I have your phone? I think I surprised the bailiff.
I was just playing. Which room?
Yeah. And sure enough, then he was, I'm on my way. Yeah. So
Wow.
that was a little home cooking I got a long time ago whenever I was younger and greener. And, it was very unprofessional for that attorney to do that, and certainly unprofessional for that bailiff to do that. But you will see that sometimes. My goal is always to know, whenever I'm going to the courtroom, I want to know who I'm dealing with before I get there.
I will say that my pool, so the way that we work our hearings, it's not by a judge, it's by a pool of commissioned officers. And so I do have to pick or help my client, which is the commanding general, choose, fair people to sit on a panel. And that, you have to make sure you know what you're getting up there. So you don't set up either side. You don't want to set up the government side. You don't want to set up the defense side. You want to find folks that are fair and just willing to hear the case. That's all I ask. I'm like, just hear the case and apply what you think is appropriate. And so sometimes your pool is very small. So I've spent time with folks before to kind of coach them on maybe if they have an idea that anybody that ever does drugs should be put under the prison. It's like, well, maybe there's, a circumstance or something to listen to and then make your decision. So I guess that's the closest I can think coming to that. Probably tonight when I'm in bed, I'm like, I should have said this, but no, I don't particularly, I don't think I have a lot that applies there.
All right, so it's Silkwood portrays a fight against a powerful corporation involving worker safety and cover-ups. How accurately do films portray the challenges of whistleblower or workplace safety cases?
From what I understand about Silkwood and what little reading I did about it beyond the movie, I think the movie was fairly accurate. Now, how often do movies do that in general? I don't know.
Well, even in Erin Brockovich, there was a whistleblower that finally helped them win the case.
Right.
I don't know that. I mean, how often are you going covering something so massive? You know what I mean? Like, all of our whistleblowers are about a certain one incident. It's not like a systemic industry issue.
I see whistleblowers more in employment law questions, which we do help out with. And so many times it comes through the door of workers' comp. And then after the workers' comp client has hired you, then they start telling you about grievances with the way that the employer either pays their employees or they dock their employees' pay. And so now you've got not just one person, but you've got 20 or 30 or 40 people who are, this employer's taken advantage of. Or maybe the employer has all of their employees be contractors. You're an independent contractor. Oh, but you're going to show up and you're going to work 9 to 5 and you're going to wear this uniform and you're going to drive this truck and you're going to go where I tell you to go and you're going to do what I tell you to do. But you're a contractor.
That's right.
Right? And so whenever you see those situations, now you've got a whistleblower and you've got an employment law case. And those are the situations where, you can bring down big, quote, big corporation. It depends on the size of the corporation. But a lot of times you'll see that in construction cases or restaurants or things like that, where people are mismanaging the way that they should be handling their employees according to the law.
Okay. The turning point in My Cousin Vinny comes from Marissa Tomei's car expertise. How accurate is the role of expert witnesses in real trials, and can they really make or break a case? And was she really qualified as an expert in the movie?
I think experts have helped in my type of practice in that last few years we've really pushed to combat sexual assault. And a lot of times we needed an expert, a nurse, somebody that just has a lot of experience with rape cases to explain to the panel. Again, not all of our cases are judge cases, so they would explain to the panel kind of, what a victim might exhibit as far as, issues stemming from it or physically, emotionally, things like that. So I think they absolutely can be helpful. I thought Marissa Tomei did a fantastic job. I would have trusted her with explaining anything about any car at that point. So I think the bigger problem there was that the prosecution underestimated her. Yeah. So he got schooled and he didn't do his homework. That was the bigger issue there. I don't think it's whether or not she's the expert. It's like him not knowing what he was going to do with her. So,
well, he didn't know what she knew. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe you got an expert that knows more than you know. And now I will say that, and I can't remember the movie specifically, but in North Carolina, to be a total drag, she would have had to have been designated as an expert and presented to the other side before she could have testified. especially in a criminal trial, unless the prosecution waived that. They waived that, then that's fine. She can testify about whatever she wants to. But they obviously didn't bring up that little rule in the law. They didn't bring up that little rule.
Don't ruin a story with
That would
facts.
slow down the story.
How dare we have rules? But no, her testimony was fabulous, and that's one reason why he was so flat-footed is because that he didn't know what she knew. And anytime you're going into court and you have an expert testifying either for you or against you, either one, you need to know what the expert knows. You will never know all the expert knows, but you at least need to know what they know and what they're going to testify to, because nothing's worse than having the opponent's expert testifying and you have no idea what to ask other than, well, how much are you getting paid?
Yeah.
Things like that. Those are very effective for about a minute or two. But if you can attack their, if she could have been attacked on the content of her testimony, then that would have made a big difference. But like you say, he was just blown away by the fact of that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, she wouldn't necessarily have been able to testify as an expert without being designated in North Carolina
Currently, with the way it's done
with the
now.
rules of evidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be that way everywhere. It would never in real life would have worked out that cleanly.
You're not. She's not going to show up and testify as an expert without being designated, unless the opposition waives that. Which why would they do that? Why would I waive that?
Okay. Cross-examining like a detective. Many shows show lawyers acting like investigators. How true is it that attorneys dig into facts themselves versus relying on investigators, experts, and discovery?
Yeah, this drives me crazy. This is the thing that drives me nuts about most legal shows, is that there the lawyers go, oh, we need to interview the custodian at the high school. Let's go. And there they go, down to the high school to interview the custodian.
Who's available right then.
Who just stands there and talks to them for 15 minutes.
And says everything they want to hear.
And then he tells them everything they want to hear and says, oh, there's video for that. Well, let's go to the office and get the video. No. If I did that, I would never be in the office. If I go to every single person I need to talk to. And that's why you have staff. That's why you have paralegals, and that's why you have, you can investigate things online. And but so no, there is none of that happening on most cases. I can do an investigation without all of that drama, but it's not as exciting. It would be very boring as a TV show. Because I'm just sitting there at 7 o'clock making phone calls saying, hey, are you the custodian at the high school? Could you talk to me for a few minutes? I represent so-and-so. And they said you witnessed blah, blah, blah. And usually they'll talk to you. And then you might get them to come into the office and sign a statement. And that's just not good TV.
You can only scroll, I guess, me doing a LexisNexis search. It's pretty boring. Like, why'd they get arrested there? The problem is I'll look at something like, why are they in trouble in this state? And then I'll go down that and make sure nothing happened there. But yeah, I wish it jumped out. And to the investigators, we have all different names for it. But at the end of the day, to the investigators' credit, they don't know what I need either. So they're gathering the facts that they can gather, but they don't have like a theme of a case, or they don't have like no two investigators know what the other is probably doing either. So I might take one from one and one from the other, but have to go back to the other and say, can you relook at this or something like that? Because they didn't have the other information to where the case is clear cut to them, or which direction, or who did what, or that type of things. Or maybe they weren't investigating anything that had to do with my case to start with. That's another issue. So, yeah, it's just TV is great. TV's great. Yeah.
So take all of that with a grain of salt.
It's wonderful entertainment.
It's great entertainment. It fits in 30 minutes. But it's just not realistic.
I think they all fall into the same bucket with cop shows and with rescue shows.
Yeah.
I don't.
NCIS.
Yeah.
Oh, people think that we have some special camera or device for everything.
Or you've got some special investigator in the office who can I just have to say, need to know what her shoe size was when she was 17.
Right,
I'm on it.
Right. Or everything's on camera. It's like it's
Yeah.
not.
And if it is on camera, it's also accessible.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Right.
Well, this is not a question in the fishbowl, but it's the question I'm going to end with. Are there any shows out there right now or movies representing law that you actually do enjoy or that you would recommend someone watching?
I watch chick flicks mostly. Tommy Boy.
So it's escape for you whenever you're watching entertainment.
I don't really watch legal shows. Every once in a while, a whodunit will be interesting, but I don't even watch it from a lawyer's perspective at that point.
Yeah. The most recent thing I watched was a PBS documentary on Appalachian loggers. Loggers, not like a logger like you drink, but a logger like you cut down a log. And it was very interesting. He does it still with the old-fashioned way, and he has horses. It's very interesting. It's just a great documentary. But nevertheless, I digress. And to answer to your question, there are 2 shows that I watched for entertainment purposes only, and I still have to, in the back of my mind, go, we know that's not real, but keep watching because it's such good acting. And that is The New Matlock with Kathy Bates. Have you seen that?
It looks amazing.
Season 1 and 2, amazing. I think, are season 3.
She's such a great actress.
Is starting. I think it's season 3. Anyway, catch it. It's entertaining. It's really good, and it's got a good understory to it.
Okay.
But yes, they're all in suits and heels, and they all 3 or 4 attorneys go to every single place to investigate things.
Oh my gosh!
Because we travel in like a posse. Yeah. Whenever we do that, I just grab the whole office and say, "Let's go investigate." Right. No, we don't do that.
Just trying to calculate the cost of that.
Seriously.
How much money is right here, right now?
And nobody works. I mean, or they do work late. They'll be there at night, but then the next morning they're back and they're all fresh,
refreshed. Yeah.
The second show that I watched several years ago, it was, and I think now it's on Hulu or something, but it was a short miniseries called called Your Honor. It was called Your Honor. Had Bryan Cranston in it.
Oh.
It was not realistic at all, but it was based out of New Orleans. Oh. I love New Orleans.
Yeah.
And great storyline. Not realistic. Had to keep putting that in the back of my head, like that's not going to happen. But a great story. So I did watch that. And I've heard, the reason I mentioned that is because I've heard that I think it only went like 3 or 4 or 5 seasons, and then they said it was done. But somebody said that they were bringing it back. So anyway, it was good.
I like Judge Jenny.
Judge Jenny?
Judge Judy.
Oh, Judge Judy.
Judge Judy. Someday I'll be Judge Jenny. Yeah. I like Judge Judy. I say Judge Jenny because people are always like, someday you'll be Judge Jenny. Sorry. Mm-hmm. But I do watch, I watch snippets that pop up on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I'm like, she's so good.
I watched Judge Judy while I was studying for the bar.
Oh,
but before she would give her decision, I would stop it and I would analyze it.
Do your own analysis? Yeah. Yeah. That's what I do. the commercial break hits. I'm like, here's where we're going with this.
Yeah. But then I figured out she'd already made up her mind ahead of time, and it really didn't matter because she'd already decided who she liked and didn't like.
We had some soldiers that got requested to go on the show. So you just have to sign a thing saying, I'll never deal with this case again. Whatever happens that day, happens that day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, Judge Jenny.
All right. Well, we'll look out for that then.
I wouldn't look for it, but if it pops into your scroll, like, just watch the snippet. Yeah.
She's got to retire sometime, and then you can just sneak right back in.
I think they have so many episodes that they just do the snippets on Instagram.
She's the richest lady on TV.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. See, I've even learned something now.
Yeah. She's got, all kinds of stuff going on.
She's everything, yeah.
Okay, well, that is it for today. I do have more questions, but we'll have to save them for another time, maybe another guest. Sorry, Jen.
It's all right.
But thank you so much for joining Jackie and answering these questions and giving us all a better understanding of how the media is not a true window into the lives of the legal field.
It is entertainment indeed.
It is entertainment.
Yeah. And y'all have been entertaining today.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we will end here and check back for another episode. I am Diane, the office manager, and Jackie's favorite. And we will see you next time on Laughter in the Law, where we talk about the law with a lighthearted twist.